deal with. Physically, it was hard to deal with, but every time I close my eyes or I wake up, that's the first thing that runs in my head, and it's very hard to talk about because no one should have to witness that. No parents should ever have to see their kids like that. That's it.
Thank you, Brian. Next, I'll call our co-counsel in this matter, State Senator Jill Carter.
The violent behavior of the officers in these instances is nothing short of egregious. There is no legal justification and certainly no necessity for violently attacking these young, unarmed black teenagers. They clearly pose no threat whatsoever. They went to Ocean City to have fun, as young people all over this state and this country do all the time. Most return to their families, maybe a little sunburned or burnt out from excessive partying, but not brutally beaten, jailed, and dehumanized victims of excessive force. The legislature passed long overdue sweeping police reforms to prevent exactly what these Ocean City cops did. Their actions were not only grossly inappropriate and illegal, but they were in defiance of the very spirit, if not the letter, of the laws as we passed in the 2021 legislative session. The department and Ocean City government must act with deliberate speed to address and account for these vicious acts. Ocean City has a long, sad history of racial segregation and discrimination. I also encourage the legislature to revise the effective dates of police reform laws, especially as it pertains to Ocean City. It will be a long, hot summer, and we cannot afford to allow these officers to enforce the law desperately and in a manner that threatens black life. Police misconduct is not getting worse, it is getting filmed. And as Baldwin wrote, ignorance allied with power is the most ferocious enemy justice can have. This maddening cruelty must end right here, right now.
Thank you, Senator Carter. We look forward to fighting with you to achieve justice in this matter. Next, we would like to call on some community advocates who are here to stand on behalf of our clients. First, I would like to call Christine Givens, who is the founder of Cecil Solidarity in Cecil County, Maryland.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Attorney Bill Murphy, Attorney Malcolm Ruff, and the rest of the team at Murphy, Falcon, and Murphy for inviting us to join this press conference today. My name is Christine Givens, as he said, and I am a co-founder of Cecil Solidarity, a grassroots organization in Cecil County, Maryland, where residents we are that work to combat injustice and discrimination all over our community. Like most of you, we recently saw the videos where young black children were harassed, beaten, and tased by overly aggressive and out-of-line Ocean City officers. We soon learned that one of these young men was one of our own, Tajir Griffin, a recent graduate of Perryville High School, the same school from which I and other members of our organization also graduated. He was a teenager that was harassed, tased, slammed to the ground, and hogtied, all for simply vaping on the boardwalk. At a time that should be full of fun and celebration at the beach, these young black graduates were instead reminded that being black in America comes at the cost, often, of being viewed as less than human. We come here today, all the way from Cecil County, to support Tajir Griffin and his family because he is a valued member of our Cecil County family. 3 of our board members, including myself, grew up with his parents, and one of those board members is also his cousin. So this act of police violence really hits home. None of us should have to be here this morning. In 2021, no one should have to worry about being assaulted by the police officers simply because they are black. But yet again, here we are. Cecil Solidarity is committed to supporting Taj and all of the victims of unreasonable police force in every way that we can. These young men should be able to enjoy the same things that their white friends and other white kids enjoy. They should be able to go to the beach without fearing that they'll be assaulted by police officers. They should be able to receive the same treatment as others who we've all seen vape on the Ocean City Boardwalk, which is a simple citation or a fine that should not result in the use of a taser or worse. Until justice is served for Taj and the other young men who were brutalized, we will continue to show up everywhere we can, and we will continue to fully support Taj and his family. Collectively, our community is behind him. We will not stop marching. We will not stop posting. We will not stop making phone calls, sending emails, signing petitions, or whatever the family needs to ensure that what he experienced during his time at Senior Week and his celebration doesn't happen to another young black graduate or any black child, teenager, or adult again. Our Black lives matter, and they deserve to be protected, and we won't stop until they are. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Christine. Cecil Solidarity has been protesting every week in the middle of Perryville on behalf of Taj and his family, and they will continue to do so as long as we continue this fight. Next, we would ask the Reverend Kobe Little of the Baltimore City chapter of the NAACP president to come to the podium.
Good morning. Mr. Murphy, thank you for your leadership. Senator, thank you for your leadership at the policy level and as a community leader. My heart goes out to Mr. Griffin and Mr. Smith. I stand here first and foremost as a faith leader. This is a moral issue. We must, as a community and as a state, stand together in solidarity against police violence and police terror. When one member of our community is abused, is brutalized, is violated with violence by those who are entrusted to uphold the law, it has a terrible impact on that individual. But it also has a lasting, terrorizing impact on our community. And we must, by God, say no to police violence. Listen, police violence is bad for business. And in a time when all businesses are struggling to survive, particularly when the hospitality and tourism industry is struggling to survive, we need members of law enforcement who will create a safe environment for citizens to enjoy hospitality and tourism. Not law enforcement officers who will create an environment where it is unsafe for Marylanders and those who wish to visit our state to come to our state and to take advantage of all of Maryland's wonderful hospitality. We must say now, today, that we stand against police violence. We stand against the idea that those who are entrusted to uphold the law become the ones who are lawless. Not one incident of police violence is acceptable. And I trust that Mr. Murphy and Mr. Ruff and others in the legal profession will stand to protect the rights of those who are violated. But we must be clear. There must be zero tolerance in Ocean City and Baltimore City, across this state and across this nation. If those who are entrusted, those who are trained and paid professionals, who are called to uphold the law, to protect and serve, if they fail to protect if they fail to serve, if they fail to uphold the law, then by God, how can we expect anyone else to respect the law? We need our elected officials, those who are now currently in Ocean City meeting with the League of Municipalities. We need our elected officials, those who are members of MACO and intend to go to Ocean City in August. We need you to raise your voices now and to say to the government of Ocean City and to the police department of Ocean City, we are done, we are tired, we refuse to accept police hostility and police terror. Specifically, in Baltimore City, we call on the members of the Baltimore City government who are members of MACO. The immediate past president of MACO is an elected official in Baltimore. The county executive in Howard County and in Anne Arundel County and in Montgomery County are executive board members of MACO. And as faith leaders and civil rights leaders, we call on them to raise their voices, to bring justice, and to prevent these types of catastrophes from ever happening again. God bless Brother Anderson and Brother Griffin. May God grant them peace and healing, and may God keep all of us safe from police violence and police terror. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Little. Lastly, folks, I call to the podium the leader of our firm and a legend in the law, especially in the area of civil rights. My mentor and the founder of our firm, Mr. Billy Murphy.
One of the most frequent questions I get asked is, why do police officers continue to behave unlawfully and use excessive force when they know they're going to be on somebody's video cell phone or on their own body cameras? And the answer is very simple. It's that deeply ingrained. And there is so little training that you can expect part-time officers who are there for the summer and who are inculcated into this kind of police culture to behave exactly the way that they did. You can expect full-time officers inculcated into police culture like that in Ocean City to keep behaving the way that they did. If all of the television attention that's brought to folks who misbehave like this isn't enough to stop them, then certainly we need stronger legislative measures, including the elimination of qualified immunity as a defense in these cases. We will fight, and we will continue to fight until justice is done for these two young men. And we believe that the officers who were involved, first the officer involved in the unnecessary tasing, and then the officer who was involved in the brutal and repeated kneeing, should be suspended without pay pending a resolution of this matter. And we are also asking that all of the criminal charges in this case be dismissed, because that is making a bad situation even worse, and it is magnifying the injustice of what happened to these young men beyond what is reasonable. You will be hearing from us in the future after we have completed our investigation, and do not be surprised if a lawsuit on behalf of both of these young men will follow. Thank you.
We thank you all for joining us here today. And at this time, we will take very limited questions.
Do you think there should be a boycott in Ocean City? I know it was discussed at the other press conference in Annapolis, a possible one. Do you think that that's the appropriate action to take if we don't get when they answer me?
Everything's on the table that is lawful. Everything is on the table that is reasonable. Subsequent events will no doubt determine whether or not such a boycott takes place. We are going to complete our investigation and continue to meet with community groups all over the state to determine whether or not that is the next thing that we do.
Sir, just to be clear, there is no lawsuit. Is there a lawsuit filed against Ocean City, or is this just representation to fight the criminal charges?
We represent these young men in both the criminal charges and in any civil claims that we will file in this matter. Ordinarily, we don't file anything until we have completed our own thorough investigation, as you all can imagine. We're not going to rush. We're going to take our time, gather all of the significant facts, speak to all of the stakeholders, and then decide what we're going to do.
Do you see any potential charges against these officers regarding this matter so far?
We certainly hope so. We certainly hope that these officers will both be charged with at least assault and unreasonable and unnecessary force, because there's no justification for what they did, in our opinion. And we believe that all of the evidence will back that up overwhelmingly. This was a situation that should have been de-escalated, and instead they escalated the situation.
We'll take one more.
Have you gotten any response from Ocean City officials, from the mayor, from the police chief? Can you talk about that?
As I mentioned earlier, we just sent notice to the mayor of our intention to file suit as pursuant to the Local Government Torts Claim Act here in Maryland. That's simply a procedural hurdle. And so, no, we have not discussed that matter with the Ocean City government yet. However, we have made contact with the state's attorney's office. We do feel positive about that communication and working with their office to resolve this favorably for our clients who did not deserve to be charged with these crimes. We thank you all for attending today, and we look forward to fighting for these young men. Thank you.
Everybody be safe and make sure that you don't become a casualty in all of this 4th of July traffic. Thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you.
I'm coming.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie from High Street High.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think so. Kind of. Okay. Relatively new. I don't know if it's nice to meet you.
Well, do you do the morning? So sometimes I come on in the morning. for that,
No,
you know?
I'm not in the morning, so maybe that's why. You mentioned you wanted to see the implement.
can do this, right? I can at least break this down, right? So they can take this photo. I don't need to get up in their face. Video we're going to use. People met all of the same here. There's another Nazi who says scooting. I think it's when I remember when we jumped the curb.
Yep.
I think it's that's caught him on the limbs.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything.
I don't think it's anything. It's probably a screw that needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not being fixing anybody. Side of the road.
Right.
This is Abdul from DPR. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here you go. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.